open up the conversation. I don't know if we ever actually talked into the whole content creation side of things with us three at least. So, Looch, you're here for a reason. You're doing some incredible things. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you're in front of me. I've praised you for months now. I genuinely respect what you're doing. And borderline, I'm amazed how quick it all happened to you. So all the best. I'm very happy with what's happening to you. But I want to talk about a content creation side of things. Where do we think content creation is right now? What's the state of content creation in gaming? Is it finally starting to catch on that content is key? Where prior, a lot of people thought, I want to be really, really good at this game so I could go pro. So
it's 50-50 still. I think it's 100% still 50-50.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are realizing it at this point and starting to see what people like myself, and I'm just going to name a couple other TikTokers here that are doing it big in the scene. Sally is a dog. You know who he is. There's a reason that people are starting to notice that, okay, these guys they're not pros at the game, but they're gaining all of this traction. Why is that? It's just because we're pushing the boundaries and people, not just me, but other people are willing to go out there and do something new that hasn't been done in a specific game or niche. And that's why it gains traction, because people love new stories and new experiences. People have seen the pro gamer 1,000 times before. Not everybody cares about esports, but everybody can care about a really good, a really well-told story, and everybody can relate to that. Or, you know, I mean, just we're all humans, so people can relate to a good storytelling. But not everybody cares about sports, just like not everybody cares about esports. So it's harder to drive that home. And that's why it's so hard for a lot of these pro players to transition into content creation, because they just think, oh, I'll just post high kill gameplays. Everybody's going to want to watch that. And then the videos flop and they don't know what they're doing wrong.
Yeah. So in your opinion, right? So if you guys, the majority of the people in here know who Loochy is, but if you don't know, he streams on Twitch as well. His channel has grown exponentially. So I hear you say this in your stream a lot, and I could not agree with it more. I try to kind of chime in when the wall of text is coming in from your chat that you have. But you say a stream is not built on Twitch, pretty much. You want to grow yourself elsewhere and direct those people into Twitch. So I don't know where that necessarily falls for you, but when I look at you, I see TikTok to Twitch. And that's kind of where that happened. You did great shit on TikTok and you blew up on there, and you're still blowing up on there. And you built a connection with your community, with your audience. And like, hey guys, I'm live streaming too. And since they have that connection to you, they follow you to your stream. Same reason why they're following you right here, because they like you. So
right.
How do you feel with that whole thing? Do you obviously stand by, build yourself elsewhere, and then push people to your ultimate goal?
Yeah, you got it. I mean, streaming for me, I wouldn't call it like an ultimate goal. Like, it's definitely like like an aspect of the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is just to be able to, I mean, it's everybody's ultimate goal, right? Be happy, love what you do, and be able to financially support yourself doing that. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is with Twitch is we're in a space, we're not on Justin TV anymore, or the first couple of years of Twitch, where you could just, anybody, no name, could throw on Twitch and gain, 500 viewers in a day. It's just, we're so far past that. It's oversaturated to the point where it's never coming back. So if you actually want to grow as a Twitch streamer, there's no way around it. You have to build yourself on more discoverable platform. And even that's not enough to get people to really commit. To get someone to go off of one website and follow you on another one is very, very hard. That's like marketing 101. You have to find unique ways to do that. And honestly, the best way to get people to really be invested in you as a person and a brand is to provide some type of really good value for them, no matter what it is, whether it's education, entertainment. Like, you got to provide value that incentivizes people to come follow you on other platforms. They're not just going to do it because you ask.
Yeah.
They got to have a reason.
Yeah, there has to be that connection, which is, I see this happen a lot, and a lot of people see these creators that are successful in what they do, and there's nothing wrong with getting inspiration from people. You can get inspiration from someone else's work, but when you're acting like someone else, you're not you, which is going to make you have to have a facade on for the rest of your content creating career. So I think if you're yourself, regardless of how it is, if you're not outspoken, if you're not loud, like, put some like vibey music on, like, be like that chill person that teaches you things. If you're an asshole that speaks very weird and loves booze, do what I do, scream into the fucking camera, and people say, like, what's the matter with your voice? Bitch, that's an accent. But, like, it's, like, your thing. But you have to be yourself, and, like, it drives me nuts, like, when a lot of people are robotic when it comes to what they do. And Bob posted something on Twitter today of someone from IGN doing a video, and it seemed like the guy was a robot. Like, there was no personality behind it. You can't tell what the guy is.
One of the toughest fucking things I've ever watched. And I got through 35 seconds of it before I had to close out. Also, I'd love to give I'm going to give a nice big Wicked Gaming suck it at the end of this, because I inspire a lot of people on the internet that are just stealing all my fucking content. And if I find you, I'm going to fucking... It's going to be problems. But, yeah, so that thing that happened on Twitter today, horrible. Yeah. I advise everybody to not look at the tweet that IGN put out about the possibilities that the Xbox Series S will be more powerful than the PlayStation 5. So don't do that. Sorry, off the tangent. Go ahead.
No, it's totally fine. I'm usually that guy that does that. So, hey, brother, it's totally fine. But yeah, Looch, how do you feel about that? Where people, so I know it sounds like there's an obvious answer to this, but when you were first starting it off, was there a piece of you that was like, okay, I'm entertaining enough for content creation, I'm entertaining enough to have people kind of like stick around? Or was your mindset more of like, I know what I'm doing, I'm confident in what I can do, I know a lot about this, and like, was that your foot forward, or did you go like personality first?
Honestly, I tried to go, I think, personality first, because like I'm going to be honest, when I started the whole TikTok thing, that was back when like I had tried and failed at like becoming like I've tried and failed at becoming a full-time streamer. Like everybody streams and like you get to a certain point, but you just kind of like you plateau, because I wasn't trying to grow elsewhere. But then TikTok happened and I said, like other people are doing it, and like there was a really big void in gaming content on TikTok. So I said, well, why can't I be one of the first people that do this? And I didn't really think at first like anything special of myself, or think that I was like super creative or anything like that. I was just willing to try what other people weren't, because people were still calling TikTok extremely cringy, and they thought it was just like a bunch of high school kids like doing dances and shit. And I just saw like, okay, like there's an audience here of young kids that all play video games. I can make something happen. And I went for it. And over time, each post, tried to do something different, tried to improve. And that's still my method now. I just try to be better than the last video every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're trying to do something. We've been trying to do something like everybody at this point, everybody has a blog site. At this point, everybody has a podcast. But for the past 4 years, we've basically been the go-to for, guess what? We're not going to hand feed you bullshit. You know what it is? Like, if we're playing a game, we play a game because we want to play a game. If we're going to talk to you about a game, you're going to get our honest opinion about it. And then you're going to hear us, you know, I'll probably be drunk when I'm talking you through all of it, but you're going to hear the honest opinion regardless. And it's like, we've carved out a spot in the podcast media with video games where it's like 99.9% of every video game podcast out there right now, it's just fucking regurgitating the same shit over and over again. Just, this game, Madden came out this year. 6.5. It was great. EA did a great. I mean, they could do better next year. And then the next fucking podcast comes out and they just fucking take it. Madden. And they just do the same fucking thing over and over again. And it's so exhausting. And when we fucking made this 4 years ago and the podcast 3 years ago, it's like, we don't want to fucking be that. Like, we don't want to be that norm. We want to be away from the norm. We want people to engage with us because we're not the norm anymore. And, you know, does it always hit with everybody? Absolutely not. But I said this on Twitter, I think it was last week. I think it was like, look, we're not for everybody, but we for damn sure are the only entity right now that is like us.
Yeah. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And same with you, Lutz. Like, you saw that opportunity, you saw that lane that was not being filled, and that's fucking brilliant. I don't care what the platform is. When there's a need for something, that's like economy 101, economics 101, supply and demand, right? That's economy, whatever, business, yada, yada, sales. There's a need for it, but there's not enough people doing it. So I think you got in at the perfect time. And I'm not saying that you went in there and you just kind of threw shit at a wall and see if it stuck. You cared about what you did. You had well-produced videos, and believe me, I've done my research on you. I've scrolled 10 months back, and I saw what you.
Boy,
I saw what you started off with. Like I saw it, and like, but you have to start somewhere. But they were never bad. It was never like. So I'm a culprit of this too, where I used to strictly just like find other people's shit and throw it up on the page. Okay, great. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like I was like, great, I got clicks and I got downloads and yada yada. But it wasn't mine. Like I never felt that sense of like accomplishment. And like till this day, I'll still do it. But I have my dialogue over it, where like I'm trying to make people laugh and like kind of paint the picture for the clip.
No, you're doing it well. I see what you're doing. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and like it's totally different. So from a content creating standpoint of things, you're murdering it, and all the best, man. 1.1 million followers on a platform that is not a small feat at all.
I still can't believe it, bro. We just hit 1 million like what 3-4 days ago.
Yeah,
crazy. It's just I don't know. TikTok has literally, without that app, I would not be where I am, because it was single-handedly the thing that gave me the exposure that I needed. And like, I guess in a way you can say the creativity was always there. Like I always, I guess, had like the knack to like do it, but so many other people do too. But they miss their window of opportunity because like they just can't get the exposure they need. There's so many talented creators out there that some of them unfortunately will probably never make it as a content creator because they just can't get the eyes. I was just lucky that, like you said, I got in. Part of it was luck. Part of it was me realizing and just saying, all right, well, fuck it. I got nothing else going on. Let me just go for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest
be honest too. Like a lot of your following came from being Dr. Lupo's brother. So, but whatever.
Good couple 100,000. Yeah.
Whatever. John, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say. I mean, there's just so much fucking discourse like online with people who have 25 followers on Twitter who are like, if you want to be a content creator, you can stream whenever you want, do whatever you want, like, and don't do this, that, and the third. And it's just like. On the other hand, you have people who have maybe 10,000 followers, and they might say, you need to be fucking awake 24/7, duct tape your eyelids open, never rest, don't sleep, throw up in a fucking bucket if you have to. But the thing is like there's all this endless back and forth on like either work however much you want, or don't work at all, or work nonstop. And this is like, we lost this like work smarter, not harder type thing, and you have to do both. But like Loochy was saying, like you have to attack multiple platforms. You have to have multiple streams of content. No, you cannot. I firmly believe that if somebody were to go and stream 80 hours a week on Twitch right now, and just do Twitch and that was it, they would get nowhere. You could do that for 8 years and you would get absolutely the fuck nowhere.
They quit.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly it. And then you get the same textbook thing that you get from every other content creator, anybody who's ever done YouTube, anybody who's ever on Twitter, and plenty of people who are on Twitch, where they say, hey, I'm burnt out, I need to take a break from my mental health. And you need to do, and don't get me wrong, you need to do that. But this is the thing, is that there needs to be, like, somebody's got to rewrite this playbook, where it's like, you don't just need to stream 9,000 hours to be taken seriously as a content creator. Content doesn't mean just streams. It means fucking content. That means blogs. That means tweets. That means YouTube videos. That means TikToks. That means whatever. The age that we're living in is everybody is constantly connected, and then everything that they're connected with is connected with something else. So all of your social media platforms are on there. That's why everybody has a fucking link tree in their bio with 90 other platforms that you can find them on, including us. This is why you can find us on 25 different podcast platforms, because you know what? That hits every single country on planet Earth. And at the end of the day, like, this is what a lot of people don't understand, is that there are so many tools out there to get yourself, there's no need to fucking ram your head into a wall 90 hours a week streaming just to be considered, just to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a full-time streamer, I'm a full-time content creator. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing anybody any favors. You're slowly eroding away your will to even continue doing the shit, because nobody's taught you. But unfortunately, the only like mentors in the space out there, while we're on the topic of content creation, is say you either need to work nonstop or you need to go at your own pace and do what you need to do. Like Jake Lucky put out a tweet like a couple weeks ago, and he was like, hey, you need to like eat, sleep, and breathe what you're doing in order to be successful. It's something to that effect. And I could see how it was taken the wrong way, but it was misconstrued, and a bunch of people jumped down his throat about it and was like, this is toxic, this isn't helpful, this is going to kill somebody because they're going to do this, that, and the third. Like, you need to just go at your own pace and do it because you love it. And granted, don't get me wrong, you do need to do that. You do need to actually enjoy and love what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you need to put a little bit, you need to put a ton of yourself into everything that you do, because otherwise, anybody else that's making content can scoop up some of your viewers. But they're not just watching Loochy because he was one of the first guys to do video game stuff on TikTok and do it well. They're watching him because of his personality and because of the style that he's putting into his videos. And just like you said, Loochy, it's like every video is better than the last one. And you've made this commitment now because you have a brand. You don't just have a stream, you have a fucking brand. And people know that if they come to you on Twitch, they go to you on Twitter, they go to you on TikTok. What's your like least followed social media platform or stream of content?
Probably Instagram.
Okay. Even still, they go to your Instagram and they still get the same Loochy. You know what I mean? So they know all the way 360, no matter what they're looking at, they get the same exact version of you. So yeah, I think that this, like, in the state of like content creation right now, and a lot of people are getting it, but a lot of people are not. Like, this work, you need to work smarter and harder to outpace the next guy, because next thing you know, there's going to be 30,000, 300,000 more people on TikTok that are making gaming content. There's going to be 600 million more podcasts that come out where people are like, you know, we tell it like it is, and we're going to not, you know, we're not going to bullshit you and shit like that. Like, there's going to be, people have tried and failed for a billion years to recreate, like, the secret sauce. But in the end of the day, you need to carve your own lane, you know, try to attack it from as many fronts as possible and be consistent. And that's the only way that anybody is going to grow. So, yeah, I'm fucking, it just nauseates me at the discourse between, like, do you need to work at it or do you need to go at your own pace? But the answer is that you kind of have to do both. And you also just need to not, like, working is not necessarily just the answer. You can't build a house by just fucking hammering the same nail into the same fucking board for 900 days. The house is not going to get built. You got to attack it from all fronts. A lot of it's ignorance, man. Yeah. A lot of it's it's a lot of ignorance. And it's just, I'm with you on that 100%. I just can't stand people preaching shit that haven't lived it. Right.
Like, bottom line. I don't know how else the way to say that fucking politely. You haven't lived that life, so who are you to fucking shout from the rooftops that people need to be doing it this way? Like, you need to find your own road and fucking steadfast, consistently, like you said, go down that fucking road. Whatever works for you, but you need to find... Everybody always comes in the stream and they ask me, like, people see the stream with however many viewers I have that day, which admittedly has been doing very well, and the first thing they ask is, what are your tips for streaming? And I'm like, well, did you just start streaming? Yeah. I'm not even an affiliate yet. And I tell them, don't stream. Yeah. Go build your platform somewhere else, come back to streaming in a month or two. You're wasting your time. If you're streaming for 6 hours a day to 3 people, you are wasting your fucking time.
Yep. 100%. And I agree with what Jake tweeted out too. I think you do have to live, breathe, and fucking whatever, eat, sleep it, because that's how you improve. But like you said, there has to be that balance where your mind can work. That's fine. My mind works until literally I wake up the next morning. I'm in bed and, like, I'll come up with an idea. I roll right over. I don't care what time it is. And, like, I'll type it in my phone. So I'm up and I'm ready for that. I'm addicted to Twitter because what if I miss news, which is probably very bad. Like, I want to be one of the first to get shit out and stuff like that. You need that line, but at the same time, your best work comes, especially me, like, I think of my best ideas when I'm taking a shit. I think of my best ideas when I'm in the shower. It's like when you're not thinking of something, that's when you get stuff, and that's when you kind of, like, know it's in your subconscious, and then you act on it. But I think there does have to be that line. Because if you're not doing it the right way, it's like punching a brick wall. Yeah. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere.
And granted, like, you don't necessarily, like, this is what Jake said, which was, my advice for anybody who wants a job in esports / gaming / streaming, ditch the whole Monday through Friday mentality. It's a full-time 7-day-a-week job, which also means you got to friggin' love it, and you're going to lose your mind at times. I'm cheering for you. And naturally, the quote, there was like 966 quote tweets where people were, like, jumping down his throat over it. And then he said, a lot of people have taken this in a way that I didn't intend. I understand the importance of taking care of your health and also needing to be fairly compensated. Work hard, grind, prepare to sacrifice, and take care of your health.
Taking care of your health? The guy has fucking 18 abs. Of course he's taking care of his own health.
And
Look at
Slasher chimed in on that and was like, hey, from somebody who's been grinding for what feels like 24/7 for the last 20 years, this is an unsustainable mentality. My constant work ethic has directly impacted my personal and professional relationships, and you need to log off sometimes. And that's the way I feel. Like, I need to take a step away sometimes and be like, hey, you know, I need to disconnect. Like, you need to pay attention to and make sure that whatever you're doing, and this goes for anything in life. This goes for any job, any major that you're in, any sort of like occupation, whatever it is. You need to make sure that you're doing that. There is some sort of like little bit of it that's like, you know, whether or not you love it, whether or not you go to work every day and you're like, man, like this is exactly what I want to do, or like this makes me happy, or like, hey, at least I get paid a ton from this, and like that is something that's something to be proud of. You know, you've got to disconnect, and you have to like give yourself time. You have to like block off time where like I am gonna just log off, recenter myself, and get back to work, and just hit the grind mode, because otherwise you drift off and you're just kind of firing random shit out there, and it tells, you know, you have to like keep yourself sharp, and that's when that work-life balance comes in. But I think you also have to be, like you said beforehand, you have to fucking love what you do. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't be doing this for 4 fucking years at this point if we didn't love video games and talking about video games. But you also need to be a fucking genuine entity in the industry when you're trying to separate yourself from everybody else. There's a reason why like super successful people like Tim the Tatman can separate himself from everybody else. He might not be the best fucking Call of Duty player in the world, but he is an entertainment icon. You can watch him, you can enjoy him, you can laugh at everything that he does. He doesn't have to be the best, but he's so unique in individual as like a person, as a streamer, that you gravitate towards someone like that. You have to be a genuine entity. You need to be an individual in the space that you're trying to break through in if you want to get to that point. And there's too many.
Too. Relatability is a giant thing.
Relatability and approachability.
Yeah.
Like you can't when I stream, I like to be an asshole and shit like that. But I'm not a fucking mean, like I'm not a mean person. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not looking at chat and being like, fuck you, asshole. No, because 9 times out of 10, chat's call me a fat idiot. And I'm just laughing with them and calling them morons. But like there's like an ebb and a flow to your engagement with people, and you need to understand where like those boundaries are, where like there's so much involved in it that people just don't understand. There's too much, how do I do this? There needs to be set steps in a way for me to break out here. How am I supposed to do this? Tell me how you did it so I can follow those steps. That's not it. You can't just follow in the footsteps of somebody else. You need to fucking go your own way. You have to create your own path. You have to do something that other people aren't doing. Or if they are doing it, you got to fucking do it better. And if you have to put in the time for that, put in the fucking time, stop whining about it. But I will always say, personal and mental health is a huge issue, and you should take the time for yourself. It should be loving what you do.
Yep.
You first, and then immediately afterwards, wanting to break through.
Yep.
And you, at some points, you need to cross those lines and you need to go back and forth, but you have to find that balance for yourself, and you need to make it work for yourself if you want to sustain any growth going forward.
Yeah. And if you want your content to continue to be good, because if you're just doing it because you're like, fuck, all right,
it's all disingenuous bullshit.
Yeah,
that's what it's all disingenuous.
100%.
Exactly. So
today I didn't put out a single TikTok because today I decided, you know what, I need a break from editing, so I just took a break. Get back to it tomorrow. It doesn't need to be when you know when you need a break, and you gotta give that to yourself.
Yeah.
And guess how much better your video will be tomorrow because you took today off.
Right, because I'm gonna go into it with the right mindset tomorrow, not the forced mindset I would have today.
That's it, man. Mm-hmm. Go to sleep with a goal on your mind, wake up ready to achieve it. That's what I say.
Like Bob was saying too, like if a lane already exists, try to do something different. Here's something for you guys too. Lyft existed before Uber. Now Uber, you call lifts that you get in Ubers because Uber took over your mind. They just executed better, and they executed at the right time, and they just kind of went all in on it. So now they're the bigger company. So that was just kind of something small. I learned it not too long ago, where I got in a lift, and I was like, oh yeah, like, hey, you the Uber. He goes, oh, if I hear that one more time, like, my bad, man, like, I'm just used to it. He goes, no, like, fun fact, I actually existed first, and yada yada, whatever.
And you were like, sir, could you just drive me home?
Sir,
I am drunk.
I'm about to throw up, sir. Can you just drive me home, please?
Sir, there's about 9 green tea shots that are about right here in my throat, so I'm gonna need you to just,
Sir, I spent $95 for this 1.5 mile ride. Just get me the fuck home. I don't care. Just get me home. Dom, do we have any voicemails?